Hey, we're back for the late show. How is everyone? Did you have a fun show with Trish if you went and watched that? I hope you did. This is the late show. We normally just a bit more relaxed on this show. It's not quite as scripted as the other show can be. Although my cats, they like to play up at this time of day. It's all right. I'll fix it in a minute. How is everyone in the chat? Marlene Clausen, Danny Mitchell, the chat celebrity. Good to see you. I was just reading a column by actually, it's got nothing to do with true crime. It was by Peter King. Peter King's retiring. So if you know NFL, he's been in the job 40 years, one of the greatest sports writers for NBC. He's retiring. So I was reading his retirement column. But I do have a story to share with you about crime. What time is it? What? I have no idea what time it is at Ches. What is Ches? It's like 4 o'clock here in Australia. 4 p.m. This story made it onto my feed. We ran out of time before to do it. It says Ohio man to be extradited to Kentucky after murder arrest. And it says an Ohio man is said to be extradited to Kentucky following his arrest in the murder of a 27-year-old in Hopkinsville. It says Hopkinsville police said officers obtained an arrest warrant for 24-year-old Cameron Cinder of Lima, Ohio, for the shooting death of Khalil Buckner. The arrest followed an intense investigation by HPD that began on Monday night. Cinder was arrested in Allen County, Ohio, and will be extradited to Kentucky. I had never even heard of this. It shows you some of these small town murders just don't make it to the national press. So I try to find these where I can. Let's have a listen to this.
A shooting on Lewis Street in Nashville. Right now, you're looking at a live picture. Officers say this may have stemmed from an argument between two people. One person was rushed to the hospital from that scene right there. We're working to find out how they're doing tonight.
That was like the smallest little video. It was like 4 seconds. That's all you get. You have to subscribe to get the rest at, what is this place? WSMV4 TV in Nashville or something. Yeah, previous coverage. Victim dies after shooting. So this must have been the original article. A man passed away after being airlifted to TriStar Skyline
We've
Medical
got an
Center.
update for you tonight from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Police say they have made an arrest in last night's deadly shooting. Cameron Snyder is charged in the murder of Khalil Buckner.
Cameron Schneider. There we go. A short Schneider. That name has negative connotations in true crime for Laurie Vallow.
Police say Buckner was shot on North McPherson Avenue. Snyder was arrested today in Allen County, Ohio. He'll be brought back to Kentucky.
When you think of an
Well, there you go. While he's being extradited, they're going to extradite him back to Kentucky. So let me see if I can find anything about the man that he shot. What did they say his name was? Let's see. His name was Cameron Schneider. That's him. Who's his victim? Khalil Buckner. Offender search. It looks like he has a background. He has a background, apparently. This apparently is the guy. It says he was on supervision from the 20th of July 2023. So he's on parole until the 12th of November 2027. Well, he ain't on parole no more. He's dead. He died. Was shot. These are all his aliases. Let's see, what's his conviction information? Narcotics, methamphetamine, narcotics, second degree GT offense, incomplete offense information. I don't know what that means. Oh, marijuana, less than 8 ounces. Methamphetamine, 2 grams or more. First subsequent arrest, offense, drug unspecified. Tampering with physical evidence. First degree, first offense, methamphetamine. Tampering with physical evidence. Criminal possession, forged instrument. First degree identity theft. Bail jumping, first degree. So this guy had a hell of a background. Dating back to when? 2016 was his first recorded arrest. And this is the guy here. So he was shot and killed in some sort of argument. No idea what for or what he did, but I guess for I don't know, maybe one of those things. I don't know. Let's see what else we can find. Kentucky Departments of Corrections. No? All right, hold on. No, it seems like there's only the one article. Ohio man set to be extradited to Kentucky after murder arrest. Seems he's been around though, and here's the original Facebook post. Detectives with the Hopkinsville Police Department conducted an investigation into the shooting death of 27-year-old Khalil Buckner of Hopkinsville. After an intensive investigation, an arrest for 24-year-old Cameron Schneider of Lima, Ohio, was issued for the offense of murder. Arrest warrant was served on Schneider in Allen County, Ohio, and is pending extradition back to Kentucky. That's all we know, but there you go. There you go. People killing people, people getting arrested, and people getting extradited. It's all happening in Ohio. Hey, glad you made it back. I have no idea. Lily in London popped up on my Twitter for some reason. Okay. Let me see if I can find something else to talk about. You know, I know Gambler was very into wanting me to have a look at the Nancy Grace interview with Audrey's mum. What I found interesting was that Audrey's mum's not getting any psych help from police, yet she's saying on the show with Nancy Grace that she's suffering from psychiatric distress. I mean, of course she is. Her daughter was murdered, but I don't know. It just seems like, don't police have support services for people that are victims of violent crimes? I would have thought they would have had some sort of support service where she could have got, free counseling or, I don't know, help getting into a psych hospital or something like that. But it sounds like she's suffering and no one's really helping her. She just said she is searching for a psychiatrist. That's it. That's awful. If I feel like there must be funding at some, you know, there's got to be funding that she can get a hold of to get help. I mean, there's got to be like the fund for violent crime victims. She might be able to do that. Ah, thanks, Peekaboo. That's interesting. Woo sent me a photo of the head, like a head thing that her brother has to wear for a tumor in his ear, a benign tumor. It literally looks like something from a space movie, Woos. It looks like something from a. It looks like it could be one of the characters from a Marvel movie. Lux says, police do very little for people with mental health problems. Even when they do, there isn't much they can do. Not much. The family must clean up crimes. If a family member unalives themselves or hire a crime cleaner. I think it's disgusting that they make the families clean up a person who is no longer here, and they're just like, "Here's a mop and bucket. Go clean up their remains. We've taken the body, but you do the rest." A lot of those families can't afford to hire one of those crime scene cleanup people either. They cost a lot of money. They're not cheap. They're a very specialized service, and yeah, very sad. But I don't know. She was crying out on. Hold on, let me find it. She was on Nancy Grace, and she was saying how she's suffering. And I don't know. It sounded almost predatory from Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace was just sitting there going, "Oh, you're taking up a lot of time on my show." Like that's the look on her face. She's like, "Hurry up and say something instead of just having your hands in your head in your hands. Hurry up and give me an answer." Yeah, I get it. That's sort of what network TV is like. But she seemed really distressed still, and I get it. I don't know. It's here. I can show you a little bit. This is when Nancy asked her, had Audrey been sexually assaulted before? She goes, were you aware of any sexual assault before? Hold on, guys. Get out of the fucking window. Come on, buddy. Come on. Stop playing around. Sorry. There we go. Sorry. Cats are just being silly. We can come back now. They love to get into this window over here and they pull out all the blinds and kick them open. And yeah, so this is when she asked her, were you aware of Audrey, had she been sexually assaulted before? And I'm like, that's a very devastating question to ask this woman. And she basically does this for a little while and then says she doesn't know. She's not aware if it actually was. And then she talks about Audrey. And then she says that it wasn't until Tim Miller came on. It wasn't until Tim Miller came on the show with Nancy Grace that she found out that Audrey's pants were found on the riverbank. So Marlene Clausen said, make no mistake, Nancy is only there for the story and the ratings. Yeah. Yeah, I found it a little insensitive to have her on. I mean, it's not the right time. At least I don't think so. But, that's what drives the ratings, I guess. And then we had our friend Joseph Scott Morgan and these other people. And they're all commenting on these little panel boxes. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Could have given her a week. Could have let her, sort through the process and then had her on. She did. I didn't hear that bit. I just heard her saying that she needed help. Pay for care. Okay. Well, that's good. She needs something. Obviously, if she's saying on national TV that she's suffering, then she needs whatever people can help with, right? But it shouldn't have to come from someone on national TV. It should have to come from a victims fund or I don't know. There's got to be funds. Hold on, let's have a look. What are we talking about? We're just saying we don't know. Let's have a look. Victim Violent Crime Victims Fund, Texas. Yeah. So the program is through the Attorney General's office, texasattorneygeneral.gov, and it's the Crime Victims Compensation Program. Helps crime victims and their immediate families with financial costs of crime and covers crime-related costs such as counseling, medical treatment, funerals, and loss of income not paid by other sources. So there you go. There is a fund available. So what do you need? Eligibility. Let's have a look. Who qualifies as a victim? A victim who was injured or died because of a crime. Yeah, that would be Audrey. Other than the victim who is authorized to act on behalf of the victim. No. Legal responsibility. No. A dependent? No. An immediate family member or household member who requires crime-related mental health care. She would qualify as that. So Audrey would fall under this, and then she would fall under this qualifier here. So I hope she takes advantage of that too, because she's eligible. There are people living on the streets. Yes, we know this. Thank you, Jojo. Jojo said Nancy never offered to pay for anything. She said, I will connect you with a counselor. That's what I remember. Okay. There we go. Shell Huffman says we have that in CA as well. Yeah, we have something similar in Australia. So there you go. There's even an appeals. So the crime must occur in Texas to a US resident or the victim is a Texas resident. And the crime occurred in a country like that. No, it happened in Texas. It's okay. Crime must be reported to an appropriate law enforcement agency. Yes. The victim or claimant must cooperate with law enforcement investigation. Yes. You must apply within 3 years from the date of the crime. Okay, she could do that. And you are either a victim or the claimant. Okay. You did not participate in the crime, commit illegal activity at the time of the crime, share responsibility for the crime, or give false information to the program. I don't think she did any of those. You were not incarcerated at the time of the crime. No. It seems like it is covered on there. Okay, you will not be considered for compensation for any other crime-related costs, such as follow-up medical care, mental health care, or lost wages. Okay, yeah. So it seems like yes, as from a very basic overview, she could get help during that program too. In about yeah, I'm sure it's going to take a little while. They has to go through court, doesn't it? Like it actually has to go through a panel. I'm pretty sure. So I know it takes a little while. But I'm just saying, like, she's gonna need care for years. This is not like a, hey, she has 3 sessions with a psychologist and she's gonna be okay. This is gonna be like a years long type thing for her. She's, she lost her daughter in a very violent public crime. It's gonna be a while before, or if ever, that she'll be back to anything close to normal. But there you go. There's some information if you don't know about that. So if maybe we have people that listen to the show that have been a victim of crime, can't afford medical care or follow-up or mental health, you can apply through your state for compensation. And you can fill it out. You can even get a victim's advocate to help you and get through this process. So I hope it helps someone. Even if it's not Audrey's mum, it might help someone out there. I think they give you like a basic payment. They don't give you like 35 years worth. They work out a payment and then that's all you get. So it's just sort of an amount. You get a sort of payout. It's not like they're going to pay for psychiatric care for 45 years. They're just going to give you like a certain amount. I've seen ones where it's like $200,000. I've seen ones where it's like, 20 grand. So I think it depends. Gambler said she's manic depressive, but she must have been diagnosed at one time. But that doesn't mean that's what she has right now. She's had a very traumatic event happen to her. It could be PTSD combined with her manic depressive state that she has now, which is a completely different diagnosis that needs completely different care than just manic depressive. Were you, Danny? It doesn't surprise me. I mean, you are very famous, and I know that you played a probation officer on that TV show, Danny Mitchell's Life in Probation. Like, it was a great show. Bless you. Did I sneeze? No, I coughed. It's all right. Laura G says Maryland has a crime victims assistance center. Do they? Yeah, she received quite a lot, and I think hopefully Audrey's mum would be able to receive a good amount too, because it was such a public case. So, all right, all right, all right, all right. I actually heard a very sad story today, and I'm going to show it to you. Hold on. Where is it? Here. Police identify woman who was found dead on popular Gold Coast beach. I don't even need to read this to tell you the story. I know it out of my head. This morning, a woman was pulled from the water. They believe she had been in the water for several hours. They actually found her belongings on the beach, and they don't know how long she had been floating out in the water, but they think at least 5, 6, 7 hours. And eventually her body floated to shore, and they were able to find her. For a little while, they didn't know who she was, and they put out like an appeal for information. They showed her like her beach gear. They were like, "Do you know anyone that owns this backpack? And do you know anyone that owns this towel?" And then it said here, police have formally identified but not yet released the name of the woman who drowned on a Gold Coast beach yesterday. The woman's death is the fourth drowning in Queensland Southeast in the past 9 days. Police are not treating the woman's death as suspicious, but say they are still investigating. So this was the image they released. This was the stuff she left on the beach, like her shoes, a backpack, some shorts, and very, very awful. They reckon she was aged between 50 and 60, described as Asian. You know, what's funny, earlier they didn't have her age nor her ethnicity, but I looked at this and I said, she's a middle-aged Asian woman. And I was like, Ping, you shouldn't think that. That's so racist. Just because she has this brand of backpack and those shoes, you can't say that she's Asian. And I was like, oh, that's such a awful thing to say. I shouldn't think that. And then it came out that she's a middle-aged Asian woman. You shouldn't do that. But they love these backpacks and those shoes. I don't know why. They just do. A police spokesman this morning confirmed she had been identified, but her name has not been released. The woman is believed to have drowned, though her death is still being investigated. A report will be prepared for the coroner. Very sad. I was just trying to find if there's another one about her. Yeah, she died at this beach here. Yeah. I felt very sad about it though, because I was like, it almost felt like racial profiling. Let me see. Police have identified drowned. Okay. Here's the other article. Fresh details emerge after a woman's body washes up at popular beach as cops release chilling photo of her belongings left on the sand. Yeah. I'm surprised no one saw it earlier and was like, I've walked past this like 4 times and there's no one out in that water. Like, where is the person? But apparently no one picked it up for several hours. So she also left this. I'm not sure what that is, like a top or something? And those are shorts apparently. And apparently this is her body on the shore. So I'm guessing she ran into she had a medical emergency. I'm guessing she had a heart attack or something like that in the water and then couldn't continue swimming and drowned in the water due to her unable to continue to keep herself afloat. I'm guessing that's what happened. Or she may have hit her head on something in the surf and become unconscious and drowned. That happens quite frequently. Or she got caught in a rip. Often people who visit our beaches can't read where the rip tide is, and they'll often get into a lot of trouble and then get swept out to sea and then drown. So it could have been those, but if she was there very early in the morning, it makes me suspect that she was like a regular swimmer and that she'd go down, have a swim, do a lap around like, some landmark in the water and then come back and then go home. That's what it suggests to me. It doesn't suggest to me that she was some sort of tourist just coming for a splash in the water. They normally come later in the day, around like midday, 2 o'clock, something like that. Not 7 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, that type of thing. So I suspect she's a regular swimmer. And she just swims around the thing and then comes back, and that she ran into a medical emergency, which is really sad. It's sad when that happens to people in the water, and then either people don't see them or it happens so quickly they just submerge. So, very, very awful story. Marlene says, my neighbor was a corrections officer, and if he says something to me I don't like, I tell him he's not my CEO and this is not a jail. That's a good one. Hey, Cheated No More. Good to see you. And hello, Mr. Cheated No More. Good to see you. All right, so there's that one. Where is the next bit? Oh no. Someone just sent me this. What the hell is this? State police investigating death of Amish woman in Sparta Township home as a homicide. Apparently, laundry still hung on the line, weighed down by a persistent and sometimes heavy rain that turned the dirt road a ribbon of brown mud. Behind a small house that Pennsylvania State Police troopers scoured on Tuesday, they were looking for clues to the horrors that took place on Monday inside the residence on Fish Flats Road in Sparta Township, where authorities said a relative and a friend returned home to find a 23-year-old Rebecca A. Byler dead. The Pennsylvania State Police said they are investigating Byler's death as a homicide, a rarity in the Erie region's Amish enclaves. Investigators would not comment Tuesday on how she possibly died. More details were expected to be released following the completion of an autopsy, which was scheduled to take place in the county mid-afternoon Tuesday. State police said they had no suspects in the suspected crime as of Tuesday afternoon. We are just aggressively following up leads, apparently. We don't have any suspects or much else at this time. There's a photo with the coroner's van and a police car, unmarked police car, out the front. And you see like a kid's toy there too. How awful. Yeah, murder's pretty rare in the Amish regions. State police in Corrie learned of Byler's death shortly before 12:30 p.m. Monday, when troopers were sent to the residence on Fish Flats Road, which runs from Centerville northeast to Route 89 south of Spartansburg. The house sits about a mile from Route 89 near Sportsman Road. Troopers arrived to find Byler dead inside the residence. Jeez. What's the closest local town? Did they just say her name was Byler? Oh, but there's probably a lot of people with that last name in the Amish community, right? Because there's like a thing here called Byler Construction. I wonder if she's related to the people who own this company. She only lived up there. Like, she lived just down the road from it. I wonder if that's got something to do with it. Maybe. Let me just search her name. Hold on. Where is her full name? Rebecca A. Byler. Yeah. Pennsylvania police are searching for leads after a 23-year-old pregnant Amish woman was killed. On Monday afternoon, police responded to the home in Sparta Township, where they found Rebecca Byler dead. Byler's death is considered a homicide, and police are aggressively investigating all leads. Police ask the public to help report any suspicious people, cars, or activity in the area of Fish Flats Road to the authorities at 814-663-2043. And that's it. They haven't really released anything yet. Yeah, just that they're investigating it as a homicide. Hey, get out. Yeah, they're just saying her autopsy was scheduled for yesterday, but they still haven't completed it yet. If anyone knows any more about this region, I'd be interested. Yeah, pregnant 23-year-old pregnant girl. It's up near Erie, PA. They say Northwest PA. Okay, thank you. I can't say I've ever heard of that area, although there used to be a TV show on TV. I don't know if anyone in the chat remembers it. Does anyone remember that show that was about Rumspringer? And it was about Amish kids who went to the city and got to live in the city for a year. And then they had to make a choice whether to go back to their communities or be exiled and live in the city but with no support from their family. Basically, like, their family would never ever speak to them again. I used to watch that show so much. It was so interesting to see, like, their way of life and the real harsh decisions and reactions if they left the community. It was really, really hard show to remember. I mean, hard show to watch. Oh, you guys remember that show? Yeah, I remember they produced like one final season and then it got cancelled. But it was a really interesting show. And that's really all I know about Amish people, unfortunately. I don't know a lot about them. Yeah, they get a year and then they have to make a choice. They can stay in the city or they can come back, but if they stay in the city, they'll basically be exiled. Like, their family won't talk to them anymore. They won't be part of their community. Like, they just don't exist, basically. They're not part of it anymore. Which is really harsh. It's really harsh. Although I have heard that some of them have eventually gone back and then been taken back into the community. But apparently it's really difficult and it's so hard to do. Shunned. Yeah, like, they just don't look at them. Yeah, it's really interesting. Very, very interesting. What was that show called? Does anyone remember? What was it called? Is it called Amish in the City? No, I don't think that was it. Was that it? Amish in the City? I can't imagine it was from that far ago, was it? No, it was called Breaking Amish. That was the one, right? Breaking Amish? Yes, it was that one. It was that one. Yeah, it was this one. It was done on TLC. It was a show which followed four Amish and one Mennonite who moved to New York City in order to experience a different life and decide whether to return to their communities or remain outside them and face ostracism by their families and friends. It follows the cast members as they experience life in New York and face new situations, including work, friendship, and romance and lifestyle, plus the drama that develops among cast members as they undergo various experiences. So it says here the cast members' move to New York City differs from Rumspringa, the rite of passage in which some 16-year-old Amish are allowed to experience the outside world and decide whether they or not wish to remain to their home communities. I don't know. The one I used to watch, it does sound like this one, but they always used to say that it was the Rumspringa tradition, but I don't know. Maybe they're just saying that. Apparently, they ordered more seasons of it or something. Yeah, I remember this one. There was one in LA and one in Brooklyn too. Yeah, it was an interesting show. Don't know how much of it was true though. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't continue it. It was pretty interesting. Aunt Annie's Pretzels was an Amish woman and left the community. That's it. That's very interesting. They get a year at 16. They won't be shunned. Most that don't return become Mennonite and still lead relatively simple lives. Interesting. It's very interesting. Hey, Bullseye. So, what would it be in their community if a 23-year-old pregnant woman was murdered? That must be pretty rare, right? It must go against everything they believe in. Like, they're pretty like us against the world, protect our kind. Like, that's the kind of people they are, right? I mean, they're friendly to other people, but they're very much about themselves. It's interesting. I wonder what a murder in their community, especially a pregnant woman. Oh, your daughter is Mennonite? It's interesting. Daughter-in-law. Okay. Laura G says we had an Amish girl stay with us for her Rumspringa. She returned to Lancaster and we went to her wedding. Oh, it's interesting. It's her daughter-in-law. Daughter-in-law. So her daughter-in-law can be Mennonite. So it means it's her son. Her son married a Mennonite woman. So I don't know how that works in the Mennonite community, but maybe they can marry outsiders. My knowledge on the Amish is very, very lacking. I need to do more research in it. Because we had another one, was it last year? There was a young Amish woman that was returning home from work and she was abducted from the side of the road. Do you remember that? Does everyone remember that crime? Happened a couple of years ago. And then they found the murderer. But I don't know if they ever found her body. No, they found the guy who killed her. But I don't remember if they found her. But she was picked up off the side of the road. Hold on. Yeah, crimes are pretty rare. Like, I just don't know many of them. Linda Stoltzfus? Yeah, that might have been her name. All right, let's have a look. What happens if you murder in an Amish community? Let's have a look. Yeah. So Amish, like, little bit of background are like, so if you commit murder in the Amish community, they believe that taking a life is the ultimate sin. If you're convicted of murder, you will be excommunicated from the community. The R word, just like in modern society, the R word is seen as a serious crime in the Amish community. Those convicted of that crime will also be excommunicated. That's interesting. But are they convicted in the Amish court or real court, like our courts, or do they have their own sort of elder, church people or something? Stealing is a serious offense in the Amish community. They believe in hard work together to achieve their goals. They are largely autonomous, farming their own lands to produce traditional Amish food and producing their own goods for sale to the outside world. Theft throws off the delicate balance that has been struck for hundreds of years. Those caught stealing are excommunicated from the community. They like to excommunicate people. Child abuse. The Amish believe that children are a gift from God. Those who abuse children will be excommunicated. They like the excommunication thing. Yeah. It's a big punishment for them. Excommunication members are not allowed to have any contact with the Amish community. This includes family, friends, and business associates. Excommunication is permanent, and there's no way to be reinstated into the community. This form of punishment is seen as a way of protecting the community from those who have committed serious offenses. It is also seen as a way of protecting the innocent from those who might do them harm. Interesting. How do the Amish punish their children? They're saying discipline starts at a young age and is viewed as an integral part of Amish culture. They use Bible concept of spare the rod and spoil the child when disciplining their children. They believe that children need to be disciplined in order to learn right from wrong. Corporal punishment is a common form of discipline in Amish homes. Boys are typically disciplined more than girls. This is because boys are seen as being more likely to get into trouble. Interesting. Yeah, well, there you go. A little bit of background into Amish laws and what, because this is almost both. This is a murder and child abuse because they killed the pregnant woman and a baby. So, that's interesting. Marlon Clausen said they have gas wells on their land not by choice and refuse to cash the gas checks. They might be very, very upset about that. There is a lot of DV in the Amish communities. Seen a documentary on it, how the police do nothing in the area. I think the police don't like to interfere unless they have to, right? I'm pretty sure I've read that. In PA, Pennsylvania, the police really don't like, intruding unless it's something very, very serious. Jojo says the church controls a lot. If something huge happens, like that little girl who was pregnant by her brothers, then cops will arrest. Yeah. Oh. Laura D says, do you remember the Nickel Mine school shooting? The Amish in that community embraced and forgave the shooter's family, but tore down the school. Oh, I don't know that one. This will be an interesting case to follow over the next few weeks, I think. I think we should keep an eye on it. Or just for at least to find out why someone killed a woman and her little baby, like an unborn child. Just trying to see if there's anything else on her. Rebecca Byler. She's very young, only 23. One hour ago on Yahoo. Any new information? Authorities have so far not released further details, but according to local media, the woman had gunshot wounds. At this point, we have confirmed the identity of the female, that she is deceased, and it looks suspicious circumstances. Byler's two other children were in the home unharmed when where their mother's body was discovered by law enforcement. Police have asked locals to report suspicious, behavior. They're basically saying that people are worried for the community and worried how a woman would be killed in that way. A gun. Do Amish people have guns? Is that it's sort of a machine, right? I, I don't know if they would have a firearm, would they? Uh-huh. So apparently they do have guns. They only use them for hunting though. Or like, farm work. Not really for hurting people. So that's Yeah, apparently they do. They have it for hunting. That's interesting. Apparently they can get in trouble with their leaders if they seek help from the outside. Abuse victims are told in some communities to do better and your husband won't need to beat you. That is not a good take. Okay. There's not a lot on her. I was looking for her, like a news report or something, but there's really not a lot about her. Wonder if they'll try keep this fairly hush hush. Let's see.
The 21,000 block of Fish Flats Road in Spartansburg usually doesn't see much vehicle traffic, mostly just horse and buggy. But Monday, marked and unmarked state police cars lined the street in front of this home after a pregnant Amish woman was found dead inside.
PSP Corey got a call through 911 of a deceased female that was found at the scene here. We were responded. At this point, we have confirmed the identity of the female, that she is deceased, and it looks like suspicious circumstances.
The victim's family and neighbors tell us she was in her early 20s and 6 months pregnant. They say her husband came home and found her body. The couple's two children were unharmed.
Immediate family of the victim have been notified, and we have members of the Amish community here, coming down as well.
We spoke with a gentleman who asked us not to show his face. He says he drives for the family and knew the victim well. He was driving another Amish woman when they got the news.
I says, let's hope when we get down by the corner, we come around that corner, there's not a car or person in sight. And it was just packed with people. And I said, oh my God. I can't believe it. Why would somebody do that to a young girl?
That's the question state police are now working around the clock to answer.
We'll be on scene for several hours, conducting a forensic search of the entire property and inside the residence as well.
Jennifer Mobilia, Jet 24 Action News. The 21,000 block of
There we go. That was the only one I could find out of the local area that had any sort of like news article, like a video. Other than that, there's really not a lot about her. That's interesting. What is this? Hold on, guys. Let me see what this is. Something like two. No, not that. Okay. Yeah, there's like no videos on her. PSP. What is the PSP? Pennsylvania State Police? Hold on.
Investigating the death of a 23-year-old pregnant Amish woman. According to troopers, the death of Rebecca Byler is a homicide. They say a family member found her body at her home in Sparta Township in Crawford County just after noon yesterday. Troopers say they have not brought anyone in for questioning as of this morning, but say they are investigating all leads.
They're going to continue to follow up on any leads that come in. Every single lead that comes in, of course, they're going to follow up on it. So we encourage the public to call in anything that seems suspicious. If they noticed anything yesterday or in previous days, please call those that information in as well.
State police have not disclosed how she was killed.
There you go. They were like the two little 1-minute news articles. That's all there is. There's so little on her. I reckon in the next 24 hours, once they release a cause of death, it'll go bonkers. There'll probably be a lot of news articles about her. Yeah, when I Google it on YouTube, there's only like one or two things. There's another one.
Confirming today the identity of a young Crawford County woman found dead Monday afternoon.
This murder leaving the entire Spartansburg community devastated and with more questions than answers. Chelsea Swift reports tonight.
A murder in Crawford County is impacting the entire Spartansburg community. An Amish woman was found Monday afternoon inside a residence located on Fish Flats Road in Sparta Township. Pennsylvania State Police confirming the victim as 23-year-old Rebecca Byler.
Bunch of good people. Everyone seems to get along with them. Everybody's just stunned. Nobody could even imagine that this kind of stuff is going on.
One business owner says when tragedy strikes the local Amish community, it impacts everyone in Spartansburg.
We're just a very tight-knit community, and I'm just absolutely heartbroken that this has happened. And I'm very, very concerned about the Amish community and worried for them.
It's definitely shameful that anything like this could go on here. Everyone's surprised.
This is very shocking, and especially to not know what happened and what's going on. But it's just very, very shocking.
Chelsea Swift, Jet 24 Action News.
There you go. I think I trolled for all the ones I could find. There might be more tomorrow once they release more about her autopsy and things like that. I don't have anything more about Samantha Murphy. Nothing. No search today due to the extreme weather conditions down here, extreme fire danger and wind and heat. So they didn't do anything. Rory, no girl. Yeah. Yeah, most of them seem like nice people for sure. All right, I think we're going to round up. The Late Show is just a little like extra show where we get to watch a couple more stories for the night. We get to have a bit of a break in between each show. Otherwise, it's too late and people don't watch. So, and it ends up too late here. It's like 5 o'clock here now. So, I am going to wrap up the show for the night. I appreciate it. I'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Australian time tomorrow. And yeah, we'll have way more. I'll keep an eye on this one. I'll try and find more about it. Any press conferences tomorrow about her autopsy or cause of death, although they did say they believe she was shot. So until then, I'll see you later. But thank you all for being here. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We are really starting to grab some subscribers and we're starting to go on a bit of a roll. So I appreciate it. Maybe we'll turn into a bit of a snowball and it'll keep going, which would be nice. So until then, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you to all the people who support this channel. I could not do it without you. And you are the reason we get to do extra shows like this. Extra show every couple of nights. So thank you, everyone. Sleep well. Get ready for more true crime tomorrow. I promise you it'll probably be a big day lots of updates, lots of other things, and hopefully good news in a couple of them, like Elijah Vu and maybe Samantha Murphy. It'd be nice to get good news out of both of them. So, see you later, everyone. Bye bye. Peace out. See you later.